It is the third most common type of cancer, makes up about 10% of the total cases. It is more common in developed countries where more than 65% of the cases are found, and it is one of the more insidious killers of men. It is also treatable if caught early. Therein lies the biggest issue. Our guest is the CEO of CheckCap, a medical diagnostics company that is seeking to find a better way to ensure colon cancer doesn't take any more lives. Let's welcome Neev to MidPoint today. Guy, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, good to be here.
Guy, March was Colon Cancer Month. It was a time for people to look at it, colon cancer awareness. Was it a success?
Well, I think it was a success, and I think it's important to do it every once in a while. But you know, it's April 1st now, and the Colon Cancer Awareness Month is over, but the problem is still here. And as you mentioned, that's the third most common cancer, but it's also the second leading cause of death from cancer. 150,000 new cases each year, 50,000 people die each year from colon cancer. And what people don't know is that colon cancer is not only treatable when diagnosed early, it is also preventable if you find precancerous polyps before they actually convert to cancer. So the whole idea of colon cancer screening is not only to detect cancer, but also to find polyps, precancerous polyps before they convert to cancer, to remove them, and by doing that to eliminate the development of the disease altogether.
Well, what you're talking about here now, correct me if I'm wrong, it is an ingestible pill, because I think probably why a lot of people don't want to go into it is because there's liquid that has to be drank before the actual event itself. It's a very uncomfortable procedure. But what is this? It almost sounds like you have a drone, if you will, that is now being able to be used in the human body.
Yeah, you can think of it as a submarine, basically. That's a capsule which is being swallowed by the patient, as opposed to colonoscopy and CT coronography and the available capsule endoscopy. This one does not require bowel preparation, and the reason is because we are using a novel technology that was invented in our company in Israel. And the idea is that you swallow the pill. There is a patch which is attached to the back of the patient. The pill is propelled by natural motility through the gastrointestinal tract. And when it is in the colon, we are taking images of the colon that create slices, and those slices are then connected together to form a 3D reconstruction of the colon. So when there is a polyp that protrudes into the lumen, we can see that, and then post-procedure, the patient is referred to colonoscopy for the purpose of removing polyps. What is important to note is that about 20% of people over the age of 50 have polyps in the colon, 1 of every 5 people. And so the goal of screening is really to find those 20% that have polyps and then to send them to colonoscopy for the purpose of removing polyps, but make sure that everybody is being screened and not only 50% of the population, as it is the case right now in the US.
If you look at the current methods of screening versus what you are proposing right here, is there any difference in what can be detected or any level, for instance, one finds more than the other?
So our technology is designed to be comparable in terms of detection rate to the available colonoscopy and CT coronography and capsule endoscopies, but without the preparation. The major advantage of colonoscopy, of course, is that if something is being found, it's going to be removed on the spot. The issue is that a significant part of the population is not going to screen for colon cancer with colonoscopy. They basically vote with their legs. They simply don't do that. And so the goal of screening is to find those that have polyps and to refer them to polypectomy. In terms of detection, you know, eventually they are all should be around the same range of 80% plus of detection of polyps.
I've got about a minute or so left here, so let's focus on the one thing here that talks to why people don't get tested. How do you get past the stigma that people have about this? Because this looks very easy, very simple, not too invasive, and very painless. So how do we get past that? Because if, correct me if I'm wrong, you catch this early enough, you can cure it, you can catch it.
You can actually avoid that. You can prevent colon cancer by finding precancerous polyps. That's the whole idea of colon cancer screening. And I think the stigma has to do with the fact that in the standard of care today with colonoscopy, you have to come to the hospital and then they're going to insert a scope into your colon. That's an unpleasant procedure, and it requires the preparation, as you mentioned before, which is a very burdensome part of the procedure. So what's interesting is that even though most people think that the procedure itself is what prevents people from going to screen, studies show that the preparation is actually the most important issue. And so we are the first ones to be able to image the colon and detect polyps with no bowel preparation. We believe that this will make a huge impact on the market and will enable to really convince many more people to go to screen, find polyps, remove them, and reduce morbidity and mortality from colon cancer.
I only have a few seconds left. Is this now available for all doctors, or is this still just a limited use?
It is in clinical studies right now in Europe. We are planning to start clinical studies here in the US next year, and our goal is to submit a request for FDA clearance in 2017.
Outstanding. I think you find a lot of people who would be much more comfortable with this because it does look fascinating. Guy Neev, thank you so much for your time. Good luck. We'll check in again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Many a strong politicians bent to the will of the NCAA, but what about NASCAR and the NFL? The state of Indiana's got a lot to lose.